To the one who always had my back, to the one I don't ever think I could pay back. When I look into your face, I see me looking back. The only female that I know deserves her own track. I love you, mama, please believe me, and this song will tell you that you one of the few reasons why I ain't a failure. Because you stand behind me, all my thoughts, wishes, dreams, and do your best to help me accomplish them by any means. I know it seems that I'm doing nothing every day, and when you ask me something real, all I do is play. But honestly, every day, all I do is pray to finally make it and take care of you before you lay. That's real talking in your eyes, I can do no wrong. Respect your wishes, only time I cuss is in my songs. And when I feel like letting go, you force me to hold on to the number one woman that's in my life, Sherry George, my mom. I told you I don't wanna live to see you die. It really hurt you when I stood back and thought why you'd help me take it, but not really care to eat my pie. I'm so proud when I see so much of you in me, and the person that you helped mold me to be. You told me, Michael, blaze your tree, but responsibly. You're like an angel watching over me constantly. I ought to be outside somewhere doing crimes and selling lines, but instead I'm writing rhymes with matching lines. And during hard times I never know, was always eating, always clothes, man, it never showed. And when I was going nowhere fast, you would help me slow. And now I growed into the man I thought I'd never know. And there's only so many ways that I can say thanks, but thank God every day that I have the chance. Thank you.
Mommy, we're so lucky. We've had Michael for 25 years.
Michael, those words which were spoken through an angel that was God's grace undeniable, so my heart wouldn't grieve. Those words are my comfort. Those words are my joy. God could choose anyone, but that you be my boy. I've been so blessed in your love left behind, cherishing sweet memories, each new treasure to find. So son, rest in peace until that glorious day Jesus brings us together forever to stay. I love you, Michael.
I love you, Michael. That was Michael George, a rapper in Canada that I mentored. You know, I mentored him on the streets, but I didn't know he would become a big rapper. I knew him for maybe a month and he was killed. I met him at the Toronto Independent Music Awards, and he got an award, and the next thing you know, he was shot and killed. And I believe he was set up. 2007, July 2007, Michael's murder has never been solved. That's one of the songs he left, and it's called Mom, featuring his mother, Sarah George, and his sisters, Sherry. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kemi Omololu. I'm live here from Ibadan, Nigeria, and today is the 14th of December, 2018. It's kind of a lot of noise next door at my neighbors, but I want to do a very brief broadcast. I'm trying to do it in Yoruba, in English, and in Pidgin, but I'm going to try and do it briefly. If I can do 15 minutes of each, it'll be really nice. And it's about all these rockers going on online about Linda Ikeji. Well, I woke up this morning very early. As always, I wake up every day at 4 a.m. and I was just doing my work. Now, unaware that Linda had posted something around maybe 6 or 7 a.m., I just got a lot of tags to my name on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Everyone's tagging me. What seems to be the problem? Everybody was praising me that I was right. Kemi was right. The woman might be a mad woman, but she says a lot of truth. You know, don't call me a mad woman. Okay, don't praise me. I don't want to hear it from all of you. I do my work as a journalist. I was trained at the Broadcasting Institute of Maryland. I was trained very well. I had the highest score in that class in news. And I was also a radio major. I did radio, I did TV, I did news. At the end of the day, I graduated with a first class in broadcast journalism. Okay? At 15 years old, I was making an announcement at Murtala Mohammed Airport. I have a great voice. And then I went to become a trained broadcaster. Can you hold on? Please, can you keep it down a little? Please, please, please. Just had a lot of people talking. At the end of the day, guys, what's next? Tell me. You go out and you go to work as a journalist. And when you start working as a journalist, you report news. Many of you are not familiar with journalism. You don't even know what it is. You know what they call mass communications. Mass communications is not journalism. Mass communications is mass communication. One is reporting from person to group. The other is reporting from group to group. Do you know what the BBC is? Do you know what Al Jazeera is? Do you know what NTA is? Is that a group reporting to a group? Do you know the difference? That is a group reporting to a group. The BBC is a group of people. Journalists, photographers, editors, everything. Then they have television and BBC. They have BBC radio. They have BBC Internet. The same with CNN. They're reporting to a group, and you're the group, the masses. Okay, and then you have a journalist who's one person reporting to a group. That's me. Okay, that's me. That's Sahara Reporters. That's Yeli Shore. Maybe when he started Sahara, it was reporting to a group of people. Now Sahara is a little group of people, his staff reporting to others. I'm not going to sit down here and tell you exactly what journalism is. I'm just going to tell you what this broadcast is about. Simple and plain. When I reported about Linda Ikeji, okay, this thing started before this year. Okay, I pretty much saw a footage where her own sister was saying that she could not have kids because of her womb was not viable, something of the sort. Everybody wants me to show the footage. Prove it, prove it. You don't prove anything in journalism. You protect the source. Do you know who gave that to me? Have you ever been in front of a shooting? Outside, somebody was shot. 2 people, 2 pastors in a car was shot. As they were shot and killed, a lot of people saw it. 3 people told me exactly what they saw. Am I supposed to put their name on the post on the internet? Am I supposed to give their names to the Nigerian Tribune, who called me and said, hey, Kemi, this stuff happened in front of your house. Did you see anything? I said, yeah, I was right there watching the whole thing happen, gunshots and all. And Nike, the girl that sells Apple, what's her last name again? Am I supposed to give you a name? No, you protect the source in journalism. Many of you don't know that. And so from there, it became, I'm pregnant. Before that, it became, I'm engaged. Linda never at any time told you guys she was engaged. This is the problem with you guys that become fans of celebrities, gather around their pages, take Panadol for their headaches. At no time ever did Linda Ikeji actually tell you she was engaged. Her sister told you. Her sisters, Sandra Ikeji and Laura Ikeji, were the ones that posted those. They are the town criers. And remember I call them town criers? They're the ones that announce everything happening to her. So automatically, they're her spokespeople. So she's engaged. I told you at that time. I said, Linda's not engaged. What did the Punch carry? Shot, shame on you, Demola, at the Punch. Unmarried Kemi Olunloyo giving advice to Linda Ikeji. I said, Linda's not engaged. She's never said she was engaged. This is a script, and you guys have to play this script. Well, I got abused. Nobody believed me. I moved on. Then she came up with this little baby bump. She said she's pregnant. I said, wait a minute, Linda's pregnant. Okay. I said it's not a real pregnancy. I said it was a baby bump, a moon bump, a this, a that. I said a lot of things. At the end of the day, you guys don't understand what surrogacy is. You don't even know what it is. It was the most searched word in Nigeria between May and September. I have the screenshot from Google. And I'm glad you guys searched it to find out exactly what it is. So you finally found out the meaning of surrogate. All right, well, let me set this phone properly so you can see me well. All right, now you finally found out the meaning of surrogate, right? Somebody that carries a baby for another person who can't carry it. That's really all it is. You have a womb, it's not viable, it can't carry a baby, so you hire somebody to carry that baby for you. BBC had a special, BBC had a tape, BBC had a nice little package with different African women speaking in pidgin about how they carry the baby for somebody else who can't carry it because their womb is not viable. You still don't understand surrogacy until Gabrielle Union went and lie down in a bed with the baby. That's when you guys believe that someone can actually go into the hospital and lay down and pretend to be like they're the ones that had the baby. But none of you believed me. It's not any big deal. It really, really isn't any big deal. Anybody can do that. At the end of the day, guys, does it matter? Does it matter? You saw the video with Gabrielle Union. The woman had 10 miscarriages. So they took eggs from her, fertilized it in a dish. After they fertilized the eggs in a dish, with the sperm of her husband, Dwayne Wade, a baby was formed. The baby has to grow inside a stomach. And the baby, the embryo, was planted inside the surrogate. The surrogate carries the baby for 9 months. The mother that can't have a baby can wear a moon bump. You saw it on TVC. They had it on the show, Your View. Mariah had a guest. You can wear a moon bump. You can wear a fake bump. And let the in-laws know that you two can have a baby. It's no big deal. I even mocked it by getting a moon bump from the company to advertise during Halloween. There was a lot of trolling. There was a lot of stuff. At the end of the day, when that baby is born, the baby is handed to you. Let me just tell you something here. There's a play on words in this case. What you have to do is, for example, when Gabrielle Union had her baby, remember it's her baby, her husband's sperm or eggs. You saw her in the delivery room looking at the child as they took the child out of the surrogate. They now handed the child to her for bonding because it's the person the child first touches that bonds with them. So when a surrogate is out of the picture, collected their money, you don't want them to bond with that baby. That person is not the mother of the child they carried. They just rented their womb. And that baby belongs to Gabrielle and Dwayne. So they lay down in their own hospital room and they brought the baby to her and she fed the baby with a bottle and Dwayne was there. Even Dwayne took his shirt off to make it look normal, natural. I'm not going to get into details of what Linda did. I've already done these stories and you already know. Today's broadcast is basically talking about the post she made this morning. Stella Jamoka said something about Linda, that she's a sperm thief. Of course, when Stella said that, I reported it, and next thing you know, they said Kemi said it. No, I didn't say it. Stella said it. You bloggers are fools. When Stella said it, and now clarified it. And the clarification is, whose sperm did Linda steal? I didn't ask Stella. I just said, whose sperm? This is a sperm thing that she goes to hotels stealing sperm around. That was a little bit downgrading Linda. Linda says she likes kids, she wants this. She told Charlie Boy, she told everybody she'll do anything. Even when she had this baby. When this baby came to her hands, she said, I'm going to have another one next year. Didn't she say that? For who? At the end of the day, Linda, whether she stole the man's sperm, do you remember that person that inboxed me at HNN Africa on Instagram? It's there. You can go there. I had a hashtag called Linda is not pregnant. Go to it. Go read it. The person said this is a script. Linda's going to get something fertilized at a Lekki fertility clinic, and, then she's going to have a surrogate carry the baby and this and that. It's all there. I reported these things. I don't know whether that was the rule, that was the route, that was this. I just reported what I know. At the end of the day, a baby was formed. His name is Jayce. And Linda says his name is Tsolaye Jeremi. Linda's not telling you what they did together. She just basically wrote an epistle this morning about, this is my baby's father, and the story has ended here. This is my baby's father, and the story has ended here. No more relationship. So, my question now to Linda, did you have to write all that and let the world know? Yes or no? I think it was good that she wrote that. I want to read that letter out from Instablog Niger, because they have it over there as they have it there as an interesting post. And the picture is very beautiful, holding the little boy. The little boy actually has some resemblance to the guy. It's like a mixture of Linda and the guy, if it's the guy's sperm. The comments have hit 10,000. That's a record. So let's go. Meet my son Jayce, and yes, Tsolaye Jeremi is his dad. Now that I give Linda thumbs up. Whether you had sex or you had a surrogate or you used somebody else's sperm, a man is the only one that knows the sperm that entered their egg. A woman is the only one that knows the sperm that hit their egg. Whether I hit my egg in my uterus or it hits it in the dish and then planted elsewhere, you're the only one that knows. So she said, 2 days before my 38th birthday, on September 17th, I welcomed my first child, my son Jayce. I looked at him and I wondered why I waited so long to have a child. I've never known love like this. I literally had tears in my eyes every time I look at him. I can't believe he came out of me. He is by far my greatest blessing, and I'm looking forward to navigating him through life. He came out of me. That could mean two things. That she delivered it, or a surrogate delivered it, or it's my genes that made him. That is none of anybody's business at this time. Now, to the reason why you're reading this, I argued with myself for a long time whether to put this out or not, and finally decided it was a story I wanted to share. I've always been open about my life, but I'm sharing details about my personal life, mostly because of the girls who look up to me. The girls I have mentoring right now and plan to mentor in the future. I'm very particular about our young girls, and I have personally tried over the years to be an example in some way. I try to teach these girls how to fight for their dreams and how to live right and do right. And then I go and have a child out of wedlock, and that must be a little confusing to some of them, and especially with so many untruthful stuff out there about me. The most hilarious is that I had a child for a married man. Laugh out loud. Here's my answer to that. The married man that I will sleep with has not even yet been born. If he's been born, he will die. Buried, rise and die again before he will lay with me. I don't do married men. The father of my child is a single man, and his name is Tsolaye Jeremi. Let's hold on there. Guys, Linda said that she never dated a married man, and that the man she had the child with is not a married man, and that she doesn't do married men. Some of you are going to find that hard to believe. I don't know who Linda slept with. I don't care. But I'm going to tell you about Tsolaye. Tsolaye Jeremi is married. He is just estranged from his wife. When somebody is estranged from their wife, they can come and present themselves as a single man. They'll do anything to say they're single to get into between your legs. So on that note, I'm supporting Linda on that one. If she didn't even know that he was a married man. I reported it to you guys that Tsolaye is married. And I think he has 2 children, and the wife and the children live in London. And that he is not single. I reported to you that he lived in a flat in Ikoyi. I have all this information. It's called investigative journalism. And when I gave you that information, of course, you called me a liar. Now, Linda says, to be honest, at some point I thought it was my final bus stop. But you know how life happens. Unfortunately, he and I are completely closed chapter. Sadly, for our son Jayce, it's the kind of chapter that can't ever be opened again. Wrong, Linda. Never say sadly for your son. The chapter can never be opened again. It can. That chapter can be opened between your son and the father. Never say never. One of the things many people have asked me is how I met this man, because we don't run in the same circle. Well, I met him 3 years ago at a Wheatbaker restaurant in Ikoyi in December 2015, shortly after I moved to my home in Banana Island, Ikoyi. It was a day after Christmas, and I was having dinner with friends when he walked in. He saw me, and the rest is history. He claimed at the time that he had never heard of me, which was seriously a turn on for me, because up until then I'd only been meeting men who behaved like fans. At the time we met, I was 35, he was 37, and I'd been single for nearly 4 years. I was definitely searching and fell in love almost immediately, and so we became an item. At the time I met him, he lived in a 3-bedroom flat at what used to be at the 5th roundabout in Lekki Aftermobile. I used to drive for almost 2 hours in traffic from my house to go see him. Most of the time I carried my laptop to his home to enable me to work, at the same time spend the whole day with him. So she was blogging at his place. I told you about the apartment, and Linda spent a lot of time there. It was like a bachelor pad. The Tsolaye that I investigated, my source says it's more like someone that became an oil and gas magnate by being the houseboy of the big ones. Otedola Wires, Terry Wires, Musa Danjuma. What's this guy's name now? Aliko Dangote. Like, he worked under these guys. Maybe he was their PAs and personal assistants and all that, but he learned the business and he became one of them. Maybe not as high profile. He has a Rolls Royce, in London. Maybe not as high profile, but he did well. He did quite well. And then he had a bachelor pad, which Linda figured, he's single. Not knowing because could be a billionaire, but why does he need a mansion when he could just have a nice posh apartment when he doesn't have a wife and kids around? It was a whirlwind romance. He was the funniest and the most romantic guy I had met up until that point. It was so easy to fall in love and truly believe the feeling was mutual. A few weeks after we met, it seemed like we were planning a future together. This man was already calling me Linda Ikeji Jeremi and making all these plans, but then, just like that, it was over between us. I went from waking up every morning to love text messages from him to no more calls. I was just thanking God for finally sending me my own man when all of a sudden we were no longer talking. So this stuff started in December 2015. We're no longer talking to each other. Later, he will tell me what scared him off. My public life. He claims he's a private businessman and he didn't want the attention being with me would bring to him. And I told him I understood and we went our separate ways. I have that problem personally myself. Some people are not, some guys are very intimidated when they're around me or it becomes a relationship or something coming up. They want me to be very private. I already have my private life nobody knows, but I live a public life because of my public personality, and then they call me a controversial one. So I just tell them, look, you can't really tell me that you want me to be private. That's just not me. Okay, well, let me tell you something at that point. Jeremy is very private. I'll tell you what happened with Alalee Hart. Alalee Hart and Jeremy were in some kind of relationship as well. And I'll tell you what broke them up. I think Alali's mother died or something. Is her mother or grandmother? I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but at the funeral party, the Owambe, Tsolaye was there, and I remember, Alali was introducing Tsolaye to the loved ones and say, "Hey, this is Tsolaye. This is Tsolaye Jeremi, your in-law." Trying to tell those ones, this is the man I'm marrying. Tsolaye was pissed off, walked away, never talked to her again. He doesn't like stuff like that. So Linda's correct. By mid-2017, we were still both single and we started seeing each other again quietly. Mid-2017. There were times it was very intense and we talked about a future together, and there were times I couldn't figure out what exactly I was doing with this guy. We were not suited for each other, totally different lifestyles, and there was a problem with my fame. I walked away from this man a million times and he came after me a million times more. No matter how much I pushed him away, he kept coming back, and me, because I couldn't find anyone else, I kept going back. You could find somebody else, Linda. Big mistake. You could. There was just something about him that kept you there. So I was basically going back to my ex because I couldn't find anyone else. Then I fell pregnant. That word, fell pregnant. A lot of people have asked me, Kemi, does that mean, okay, she now got his sperm and fertilized it and the baby came together, or what, or they had sex? I don't know. I wasn't there. All I know is what I reported. She didn't say she got pregnant. She said she fell pregnant. It wasn't planned. It just happened. Though we talked about having a child together for just 2 months before that, I fell pregnant. He said something about putting a billionaire baby inside me, and I remember jokingly telling him that I'm also a billionaire, so our child was going to be a billionaire on both sides, and we laughed. But after I fell pregnant, things became extremely weird between us. If I tried to explain what happened, I wouldn't be able to because it was confusing to me. That's something you're not going to hear. Linda said, if I tried to explain, okay? Went from talking about the pregnancy and being okay with it. And he even suggested I go to Dubai for my prenatals, as he didn't trust doctors in Nigeria, to literally not talking to each other anymore. Okay, now which brings back my own story. I'm not going to go back to it. This is Linda's account. When I was about 3 months pregnant, he did not come to see my parents and actually became very cool with my dad. No, he did come to see my parents and actually became cool with my dad. They were literally exchanging WhatsApp messages every day. He later agreed to a traditional wedding, which he didn't follow through. And then he switched He began to treat me with so much hate and aggression that I and my family had to cut him off completely. But Linda, that was the opposite of what I reported. Linda's father did not cut him off completely. Linda's father, I reported, begged Jeremy to marry Linda because of this baby. The baby had been formed. Okay, and something is missing right there. Why did Jeremy leave? Did she find out that his sperm had been fertilized to Linda's eggs somewhere and the baby was coming, or there'll be a surrogate or something? There's something very missing in that statement right there. But Linda's family and Linda did not cut that guy off. That guy cut them all off. He didn't like the whole child crier stuff. He didn't like the whole showing the stomach, all that. He didn't like a lot of things. To be honest, if anybody had told me that we met 3 years ago, considering how deeply we cared for each other, I will fall pregnant 2 years later, he would have completely turned his back to me, I would never have believed. And Jayce, my son Jayce, he was my biggest strength. It was almost as if he knew his dad was acting up, so he came through for his mom. He was gentle with me when I was carrying him. I had an extremely easy pregnancy. I pushed him out under 3 minutes. I was in labor room for less than 30 minutes and then snapped back. 3 weeks later was almost as if I'd never been pregnant. Jayce was my soldier when his dad turned his back. That entire paragraph, Linda is telling you she actually carried the baby in her stomach. So Kemi is wrong. I didn't wear a moon pump. I didn't have a surrogate. That's what that part's saying. But I reported what I reported. But still, I have absolutely no iota of regret in meeting Tsolaye Jeremi. Gosh, have you seen Jayce? How can you regret that? God doesn't make mistakes. If you believe that you're always led by God, like believe in him, then I have to believe that God led me to this man for whatever reasons best known to him. I thought God sent him as my life partner, but I guess he was just used. Okay. Being a single mom wasn't a dream I had for myself. I prayed for the kind of happy home my parents built for us. They've been together 40 years. Nothing is more important to me than my family. Linda spoke about a lot of things, and this letter continues going on. And she says she has many plans for girls next year and in the coming years with the self-made finance and mentorship projects with international collaborations. So this was important for me to do, to explain myself to the young girls to look up to. Now, it changes. Aside from that, we remember when Linda used to say single mothers are hoes. Single mother. She cast her someone that didn't even know the father of her children. She also castigated Sophia Mamadou, Davido's baby mama at that time. Many people were castigated by Linda, but really one should forgive her, because whatever you say to somebody, you don't know, you might be the one in the same shoes. You know what I mean? She talked about Tsolaye Jeremi is the only guy that she's dated in the last 6 years. She talked about she hopes to meet a great guy soon, but right now she's enjoying motherhood. She said, don't ever sleep with men for money, because a woman with a brain and determination can get her own money herself. Now, that's questionable. She talked about 100 million naira car that she just bought. And I reported that car was a gift to her by a lawmaker. Don't sleep with a man, don't sleep with a man. She talks about that everywhere. But Linda is not reiterating that very well. I don't want to see Linda in classrooms and halls talking to young girls. I want to see her on Allen Avenue talking to young girls who stand out there every night prostituting, sleeping with men they don't even know. We have to go to the root of these things, not just be nice and, oh yeah, come and see Linda Ikeji, come and see Kemi and lawyer. Don't sleep with men, not in a hall setting, okay? I'm trying to go out to Allen Avenue with one of the TV stations and go talk to the prostitute girls. Okay, we did it in Ibadan, but we did audio. It's very important to get them off the streets. So sleeping with men is not just about it's not just about yeah, this and that, you know, all this preaching. It's really about going to where the real problem is. Allen Avenue is a real problem. I have a lot of girls sleeping around there. Linda talks about we can be rich, we can be successful, we can break barriers, do what men can do. Of course, I drive a speedboat, I fly a helicopter. Ladies, we are powerful beyond measure and can do anything and anything we want to be. True. The other thing I've always said is do not sleep around with multiple men who just use your body for their pleasure. That is too many one-night stands, casual sex, many sex partners in a short period of time, all in the name of relationships. What about if it's not in the name of relationships, Linda? We got them on Allen Avenue, prostitution. We got them at Transcore Hilton waiting to be picked up. And these are not relationships. Our girls are sleeping with all kinds of people. Said you were celibate for years until I met my son, father, and fell in love. And instead of increasing my body count, I just went back to the same eggplant. LOL, she said eggplant. My mistake was I should have walked away when the relationship became a waste. But then again, Jayce wouldn't be here today if I had. So really, there's nothing that I have preached that I didn't practice. So you guys stop trolling me over this, I beg. And that ends her letter. It was a big write-up. I don't know how long that took to write, but my blog is going to open this weekend, and I'm going to pretty much write some things about some of these issues that Linda mentioned. Linda mentioned some very serious issues with sleeping around. It's very rampant in Nigeria, and it's just casual sex, Linda. It's not just one-night stands. My clients, Ayalabijo, had a one-night stand with Davido, but they met with him again. So the whole issue of it, all right, is forward ever, backward never. I have to tell you guys now, the one word you guys always said to me, leave Linda alone. That's what I would tell you guys now. You always tell me, leave Linda alone. Don't do this, don't do that. You have to report news. If Linda's in the news, she has to be in the news. Now she's in the news. She's trending at #1 all day on Twitter. Leave Linda alone. No one's going to leave her alone. They're going to say the news. And I see why a lot of you tagged me. I read the letter to you. There's a post on me on Instablog Nigeria now. Can you see? I'm looking at that post now, and it's the video that I did. I said, Linda, oh yeah, unblock me. Linda's blocked me for 4 years. I'm sure she wouldn't unblock me. It doesn't matter if somebody blocks me, really. I mean, unblocking just means you want to comment on their page. I have other pages that I can use to comment on Linda's page, but I'm not interested in running around. I have my own issues. I opened the page at Kemi Lawyer today so that you guys can all enter before December 31st. Because January 1st, all my assets will be subscription only. So let's just do that to get on the pages at Kemi Lawyer on Instagram at HNN Africa, and Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Twitter, Facebook, the former Instagram, and Snapchat. What else is there to say? Linda, take care of your child. Keep shining and learn about motherhood. Ask questions from people. I'll have news tips, health tips on my page. Guys, do you have any question for me with regards to this broadcast? Tsolaye Jeremi, my message for you. I don't know what I can say, but I don't know why you're not in the child's life. Maybe because you're not with Linda anymore. Okay, people said that the young lady that owns Beth Models, Aloha, is Linda's, excuse me, is Shalaye's new girlfriend that's pregnant for him. Aloha says she's not pregnant for anybody. She's not even pregnant. There's a lot out there that you don't know. You haven't seen these people. You don't know them. You just read about them. She says she's not pregnant. Shalaye's children and wife estranged in London. The part of the single part is totally correct. Linda was correct about that. Men will come and tell you they're married, they're single, they're doing this, that. But at the time, he was estranged, and that could be well single. Separated, that's another one. Good luck, Linda, with a baby. And thanks everybody for watching. Have a good day. I'm Kemi. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please click it now. I don't want you to end up paying to watch my shows in January. Click subscribe and the bell notification. It's been a long day.